downloading.
The 06-07 season was truly Ronaldo's breakthrough season, where he put everyone on notice after the 2006 World Cup. It was a time for the next chapter of his evolution as a player and as a human. This season walked so his 07-08 season could fly. I'll be discussing how the 06-07 season was Cristiano Ronaldo's first great season and the most important one in the grand scheme of things. It was almost a make or break situation. He had something to prove. He improved his end product in the final third. To me, this season was the most important season in Ronaldo's career, where he showed flashes of him being more than just a winger, but someone that could dominate a game when it mattered the most. No more was he looked at as just a trickster with potential. He was looked at as more than that. In the 06-07 season, Cristiano Ronaldo was now entering conversations of the world's best alongside Kaká and Messi. People today really forget about how great of a dribbler and playmaker Ronaldo was. He's just had to really make the transition to be more of a striker because he realized he couldn't go past five players and score like he could before. So the past 5 years, he's readapted his game to ensure that he could have more longevity. This is to also ensure that he could dominate, but in different ways. Very similar to Jordan during his last three-peat, where the focus was more on finding the more efficient way to win as opposed to winning in spectacular fashion, which was more of a theme during his first three-peat. And for Ronaldo, this was a theme pre-2016. So Ronaldo arrived at Manchester United in 2003 from Sporting Lisbon with huge ambition. During his first 3 seasons, there was some progress being made, although initially he was focused on displaying tricks, where he was criticized by teammates and by the footballing world for lacking end product and not being clutch enough in the final third. His career was pretty much on the rocks, even though the 05-06 season showed some promise. He still was not producing at the level that he should have. It had been 3 seasons since Manchester United had won the league. By the end of the season, Chelsea's Mourinho had won the league 2 times in a row. In the 06-07 season, this is where he started to really develop more of an end product. His body had transformed in a major way. Gary Neville once said, physically, he changed from a boy to a man. He left as a featherweight and returned as a light heavyweight. That brought him to a level of power he didn't have before. It wasn't just his physical game that transformed. Ronaldo's intangibles, aka his mental game, had further developed also. Before we get into the 06-07 season, let's look at the 2006 World Cup. Ronaldo developed in so many ways. He made his World Cup debut at the age of 21. as Portugal reached the semi-finals. What was interesting at the stage was you still had the Portuguese veterans in the team, such as the likes of Luis Figo, Deco, and Pauleta. This World Cup was another stepping stone for his emerging career, and it was like a pit stop for his development. As a fan, it was an exciting time seeing him grow as a player on the big stage. Mind you, during this period, he was wearing the number 17 for Portugal, as Figo was still wearing number 7. But the passing of the torch was around the corner. Ronaldo's first goal at the tournament came in the second game against Iran as he scored a penalty in the 2-0 win in Frankfurt. Fast forward to the quarterfinals against England, a very controversial moment took place where he became public enemy number 1 amongst England fans after winking to the Portugal bench after Wayne Rooney was sent off for stomping on defender Ricardo Carvalho. Ronaldo went on to convert the winning penalty that sent Portugal to the semi-finals against France and sent England packing. It was one of the early glimpses of Ronaldo handling pressure in a big game and in a big moment. This would be something we would see on countless occasions down the line in his iconic career. Portugal went on to lose to France thanks to Zidane's ice-cold composure with the penalty that he converted, where France progressed to the final. Even though Portugal failed to make it to the final, Ronaldo displayed glimpses of his greatness to come. Me personally, I was excited to see what he had to offer in the upcoming 06-07 season and what new levels he could reach. On August 20th, 2006, the opening game of the season for Manchester United against Fulham was a successful one. Initially, there was some questions about the relationship between Ronaldo and Rooney prior to this opening game due to the events that took place at the 2006 World Cup. However, these questions were answered, and they both showed great cohesion in their 5-1 win, with Rooney scoring 2 goals and Ronaldo scoring 1. Ronaldo was discovering that it was goals, not stepovers, that win games. So during this season, domestically, he had quite a few notable performances versus Reading. Away was an eye opener, and it was a goal that he scored in the final moments, which secured a 1-1 draw and avoided Manchester United from losing the game. And it really showed Ronaldo's mental strength and his drive to take his team out of a loss and to step up and be a leader.
Here's Ronaldo. He's threatened every time he's had the ball. And he finds the net with a brilliant shot. Manchester United are level.
Well, I spoke too soon. I apologise to all Reading fans, but what a goal. What a strike.
His performance against Aston Villa was another great example of his mental strength really blossoming. The boos from the Aston Villa fans really added to the fuel of the fire within him, and that showed during the individual goal that he scored.
He cut the ball back to any purpose. Ronaldo and Giggs on that side. That might be an expensive mistake by the Villa right back. And Ronaldo really going for the heart of Aston Villa here. It's a brilliant run, and it's Cristiano Ronaldo again. And that is Manchester United's 2000th goal under Alex Ferguson's management.
Another great performance was against Wigan. Ronaldo ended the domestic season with 17 goals and 16 assists. Cristiano Ronaldo had won the Premier League, the PFA Player of the Year, Young Player of the Year, the Football Writers Player of the Year, and Fans Player of the Year. It was clear at this stage that Manchester United had a worldwide star, and Ferguson's investment and belief in Ronaldo had paid off. As far as the Champions League, Ronaldo made a big leap from the previous season, getting to the semi-finals of the Champions League was the furthest he'd ever been at this point. His most notable performance was probably during the quarterfinals against Roma in Manchester United's 7-1 win, where he scored 2 goals and really showed that he was ready for the big stage in the Champions League. At the time, it actually felt like he was ready to take Manchester United all the way to the final and to actually win. In the semi-finals, he had a meeting with Kaka, and it was an interesting one, very interesting one. And Kaka won that battle. And Kaka was just the best player during those 2 legs. He was the best player that year. He went on to win the Champions League, be the top scorer, and also go on to win the Ballon d'Or with 445 points, where Ronaldo finished second with 277 points. Messi finishing third with 255 points. This was a humbling experience for Ronaldo, and most likely provided him with feedback on where he was and where he saw himself as far as the world's best. He ended the Champions League campaign with 3 goals and 5 assists. It was clear that this experience was a motivational one and a huge learning experience, since he would go on to win his first Champions League the following season. So he finished the 06-07 season with 23 goals in all competitions and broke the 20-goal barrier for the first time. He also finished with 22 assists. Rene Meulensteen was definitely an important figure during this era, this 06-07 era. He had returned to Old Trafford in 2007 from an unsuccessful spell managing Brøndby for 6 months. What he did that was great was he stretched Ronaldo's limits, making him see the bigger picture of what his impact should be on the pitch and how that can elevate his stats. As the 06-07 season was closing, he said this to Ronaldo: "I've looked at your goals last season and you only scored 23 because you want to score the perfect goal all the time. Look at me, top corner. The most important individuals are the ones who elevate the team, not themselves. Elevate the team and the team will elevate you." What's crazy is the two would go on to study video footage of the likes of Thierry Henry and Alan Shearer to really further improve Ronaldo's output on the pitch. They worked on 3 different zones. One was in front of goal. The second one was on either side. And the third one was outside the penalty area. Malonstein asked Ronaldo how many goals does he aim to score in the 07-08 season. And Ronaldo responded 30 to 35. Malonstein challenged him to score 40. By June 2008, Ronaldo had won another league title, a Champions League, and scored 42 goals. In the 9 seasons since then for both Manchester United and Real Madrid, he scored more than 40 goals in 7 of them. So the 06-07 season was his most important season of his career, in my opinion, because it showed that he was ready to perform on the big stage. He led United to win a league title. He led them to the semi-finals in the Champions League. He'd made huge improvements with his end product. He entered the world's best conversation. Not only did his physical game make huge improvements and evolve, but his mental game evolved in a huge way, especially during away games and against lower ranked teams in the Premier League that were difficult to play at. The boos became extra fuel for him and just gave him even more motivation. 06-07 season set up his success in the 07-08 season and all the seasons after that. There was a different level of expectation attached to his name after this season. Reaching the semis in the Champions League in 07 was motivation to get to the final in 08 and ultimately win. To be clear, this wasn't his greatest season statistically or even as far as trophies, but this was the season where he figured it out. This was like Jordan in 91. This was LeBron in 2012. Ronaldo realized it was about end product. And to become the best player in the world, it would all be about purely scoring goals and setting up goals for others and having an impact on the overall game. Ronaldo really matured and started to make the transition to becoming more of a team player and leader.